is up, guys? Levi Peterson here, back at it with another YouTube video. Today's video is going to be a short, sweet video on an update on all my aquariums in my room. We're going to go through the 75, the 29, the 30 hexagon tank, the 5-gallon macroalgae tank, and the 10-gallon reef tank, and the 0.9 gallon macroalgae tank that's just has light on it and it's just growing one type of macro. Everything is doing completely excellent, and I cannot complain. There was a little issue this past week with the 10-gallon, and I will explain that later in the video. And then obviously the 29 back there, if you've watched my recent videos, I do plan on getting rid of the eel simply because it's getting too big for that tank, and I don't want to stress it out any more than it has to be stressed out, because that tank is a little small for them right now and they grow rapidly quick. I knew this when I got it, and I was planning on upgrading, except I really don't have much more space to kind of upgrade up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to my local fish store, which I happen to work at, Northside Aquatics LLC. I will have a link to their website in the description at the end of this video. My future plans for that tank is simply to do a seahorse tank. Yes, it's not simple, but I have the background knowledge, and I've been doing loads and loads of research constantly whenever I get a break. So I feel like I'm prepared and ready for that. I got some rock from Real Reef Rock coming to scape this tank. Got some macroalgae that I'll show you in a little bit that I'm going to help scape it. And then I plan to add some gorgonians, etc. So we're going to start out with the 75-gallon, explaining how it's going, and we're going to go ahead and feed it while I'm showing you. And then we're going to kind of walk our way around the room throughout our tanks. Starting right off the bat here, we got my 75-gallon fish-only tank. Quick stock rundown: 2 clownfish, 2 cardinalfish, a nitro trigger, small blue tang, small scopus, so that's medium size. And then we got a yellow long-nosed butterfly fish. Yes, this is a big load for a 75-gallon. I do constant water changes and check my parameters constantly. I did recently have a run-in with ick, and that's probably simply because I added a fish without quarantining it, which was not a good idea. So I'm currently dealing with it thanks to Kick Ick from Ruby Reef. Now this stuff is simply brine shrimp. I'm gonna go ahead and feed the tank these. These fish love this stuff. I feed a variety of different foods. I feed Reef Nutrition copepods, mysis shrimp, frozen mysis shrimp, brine shrimp. I have fed live brine, but that stuff can get really expensive real quick. I really don't know why live brine shrimp has gotten so expensive recently, but it just has. Over here we have my 5-gallon macroalgae tank. This houses the clown goby for the time being until I get my seahorse tank up and running. Pom-pom macro, lots of that stuff. We got some green ogo macro algae, some sawblade macro. What else do we have in here? We have some chato and some sea lettuce in the back here, and some helimadea in the front and back, and over in the 10-gallon, and it fell over again. And then I have one of the more rare macros in the hobby right now, blue hypnea. I got a decent chunk of that growing in here. It's doing really, really well. I do plan on adding some of that into the 10-gallon, along with some small fragment of the pom-pom macro in here to add a little bit something different. This tank over here, I have a big feather duster that is actually getting way bigger. This was probably about right there when I first purchased him, and he's definitely getting real big thanks to some really highly recommended Reef Nutrition products. This literally is what I feed this reef, other than frozen brine and copepods to supplement for my dragonet or my red scooter blending down there. This has lots of coral in it. I recently had a big hammer. I almost nuked this tank. A lot of my coral started closing up, and I was so confused on what was going on. If you guys have watched my recent videos, I actually recently purchased a starfish from Reefapalooza. I totally forgot my starfish was in here, and I was definitely you don't really have to target feed starfish, but obviously there's not enough things for it to kind of scavenge around here because I do keep this tank real clean. He got on the underside of this rock, and I totally forgot that he was in here. All of a sudden I started seeing red floaties floating around the tank, and it just hit me that my starfish is disintegrating and releasing toxins into my tank. It almost killed off my whole tank. This is my tank after 4 water changes. Some of my coral has still not opened up like it should. This sky usually looks very beautiful. Everything else is starting to open back up except for the Bam Bams and this guy right there. Everything else is doing real well. The Duncan has 4 other heads on it now that are starting to grow out. He's all closed up because the dumb damselfish came down, or the chromis came down and hit him. This stuff is spreading like crazy, which is no surprise. That is pulsing xenia. There's lots of different kinds of xenia out there. And then I got my red gorgonian, or red sea rod, whatever you like to call it. Eagle eye zoas, super greens, and I'm not sure what the back zoas are right there. So I would like to add some macro to this tank, just kind of give it something different. Over here we have my eel tank. I just literally fed him like 2 seconds ago. I feed him bluegill fillets, and like I said, I do plan on getting rid of him simply because he's getting too big for this tank, and I'd have kind of other ideas other than an eel, and I simply don't want to stress him out like I explained earlier. And then over on the other side of my room, we have a newly stocked tank. We had the 3-striped damsel in there ever since I had my frogfish. If you watched my recent videos, I recently had a frogfish. And if you heard, I've posted some things on Instagram. He ended up dying simply because I had a massive emerald crab that I really didn't think would bother him. But as most people know and most hobbyists know, that more frogfish and leaffish combined scorpions is what a leaffish is. There's lots of different kinds of scorpions fish out there. Their eyes are actually very sensitive along with their whole entire body, and I really wasn't thinking that the crab was going to do anything, and the crab did. So the crab got punished and sunked for a while, and he's back in here right now until I get another anglerfish. So really that's kind of going to wrap it up for this video. I really just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on an update. I haven't done an update video in quite a long time, so I really just wanted to give you guys a quick update on everything and let you know how everything's going. I'll keep you guys updated. Basketball season coming up, so the videos are going to stay the same every Monday and Friday. I'm cutting out Wednesdays because with work and everything, it's a lot to do, and with school. So other than that, don't forget to be the fish and keep reefing. We will see you on the next video. See you next time.